Hello, this is Kevin from AMT Software, and this is the third in a series of video lessons intended for users who are new to Prospector. If you haven't gone through the previous lessons, you should do so before continuing with this one. We're building on a project that we created in the first lesson, and we're going to keep adding programs and doing stuff to that project. So you should definitely do those lessons first. In this video, I'm going to be going over creating a 3D program, creating our first program in Prospector. So let's get started. First thing I want to do is I want to select what category. I'm going to start in the rough category. I'm going to create my rougher first. I'm going to do a right click to bring up the context menu and select New 3D Program. And this starts the 3D Program Wizard. The first page is the remaining stock model page, and I'm going to go over the remaining stock model in a future video lesson. But the other thing I defined on this, a couple of things I defined on this page is the stock allowance, and since I was in roughing, it picked a stock allowance of 0.075, because it's roughing. If I was in finishing, it would pick 0. But in PowerSource, you can set the rules up for that value and any value for any of the parameters in the program. The other thing I specified on this page is the window. And what is a window? A window is a cutter containment boundary. If I define a window to cut just a small area, it'll just cut in that area. I've got window tools up here to help me create it. I can create a window around the whole part, so that it would cut everything. I can convert selected profiles into windows, and I can create profiles using the profiling tools. I can just sketch out a window myself, a rectangular window, and a lot of other tools that we'll go into in other lessons. But since it's my rougher, I want to try to cut everything, so I'm going to use window around part. This adds a window to the list here. And I can create as many windows as I want and select them all and go through the wizard. But here I'm just going to create one window around the whole part, and it's giving me some information. It's telling me how much stock is in the window, how deep it is, that's the surface, high Z, low Z, depth, and the minimum radius, minimum corner radius that's in the window. All these are useful information in order to pick tools, set start Z and end Zs, and other parameters. These are values that can be used to define those other parameters. All right, I've got my window. My stock allowance is good. And hit next. Now I'm on my strategy page. What strategy, cutting strategy, do I want to use? I've got all these different ones to choose from. Center and edge plunge roughing, Z-planar with clear, no clear, the box lace, flow radial, a whole slew of cutting strategies available in Prospector, and these are just the 3D ones. Again, since I'm in roughing and my PowerSource database is set up so that it picked Z-planar with clear. And Z-planar with clear is a strategy that does a Z-level cut and does area clearance, and then has a step down to do the next level. All right, I'm gonna hit next. Now I'm on my tool selection page. And again, PowerSource has selected a tool for me based on the window and the part. The three types of tools mostly supported in Prospector are ball nose tools, bull nose tools, and end mills. And all these tools are found in my PowerSource database. And we've seeded the default database with a lot of tools. Over here on the right, I have tool details. This upper area is going to be the geometry of the tool, the length of the tool, diameter, and corner radius if it has one. And for this it does, for the bull nose. And I also have some tool setup information. Well, I have the home position, that'll be my start point, my from point. And again, it's filled in these values based on the stock model. I've got a station number, length, comp number, and feeds and speeds. Again, all based on the tool and the material that I defined when I created the project. Next is the tool assembly selection, spindles, holders, etc. These can be useful to make sure your assembly does not collide with stock. So when the program is generated, it makes sure that it'll warn you if the assembly collides with stock. I'm not going to add anything here, so I'm going to hit next, and I get the parameters page. Each strategy will have two parts to it here. There's a grid here, a table of the windows, and these are parameters for the individual windows. If I had multiple windows in here, they'd have their own start and NZ that I could change. These parameters over here apply to all of the windows. So the step down, step over, and what kind of area clearance am I going to use, those would apply to all the windows. If there's any other question about what any of these parameters do, just like on the new project wizard, there's this question mark icon here for what's this help. I can click on that and click on any control or text, and it'll tell me about that control or what that value is. So here's telling me what zigzag clearing is. A style of clearing that produces parallel cuts at a specific angle on each level to clear the stock. Always very useful. So I've got my values again. I haven't had to fill anything in here. This PowerSource is really useful, very powerful engine. So I'm done with this page. Next, some parameters, some strategies have multiple parameter pages because there's so many parameters to fill in. And for Z-planar with clear, I've got the C-level transition, and this is it's selected contour ramp because that's how I like to ramp, and my ramp angle is 1 degree. Next is the finish page, the last page, which gives you a property list of all the parameters for this strategy, for this window. When this check box is off, these will show the basic parameters, and basic parameters are parameters that will show up on other pages. So the ramp angle was on, start Z and NZ were on page, ramp angle, step over, step down. Those were all available on other pages. If I check on the show advanced settings, now these are all the parameters involved in making a Z-planar with clear program. You see there's a lot more that are available. Some of them are grouped together, like the home position has its own little folder, tool, and the tool setup, feeds and speeds. But these are all the parameters that go into making a Z-planar with clear program. And again, there's this question mark, the what's this help, that I can click on, and then click on the property, and it'll tell me what that property does. Okay. Now I'm done. I've reached the end of the wizard. I'm going to hit finish. Takes me back to the first page. If I want to keep creating more windows, creating more programs, maybe a different strategy. But this is my first one. I windowed over the whole part. I'm done creating programs. What did it do here? Well, it added a program to my rough category. And it has the tool description and then the name. So that's our prog 1. Prog, remember, in the when we defined the setup, we gave it a program prefix. So that's why it's called prog 1. And there's a little ball next to it. And this is the status of the program. A gray ball means it needs to be generated. So right now, all I've done is I've defined the program, the Z-planar with clear program. It hasn't been built or verified yet. The way I do that is I come up to the build button, build project. And that's going to click on that, and that's going to do two things. It's going to generate the program and then verify it. And that updates the stock model and it verifies that it doesn't gouge the part. And if I had a tool assembly, it would verify that there aren't any stock collisions. Now, anytime during the build, I can hit stop build if I said, oh no, I need to go back and change a parameter. That's what stop build will do. It just stops the build. If you have several programs in the list and you're like, oh, I need to stop and make a change, you can always stop the build. All right, so I've got a little green ball next to the program now with a little triangle. But the green ball means it's good. Triangle means there's warnings. And what those are is it wasn't able to go down into these locks because of the tool size. But it did generate a program. All right, that's it. That's how easy it is. I say new 3D program, create my window, pick my strategy, tool, fill in the parameters, hit finish, build the program, and I'm ready to go. And that's it. Hope that was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please email us at support@amt-software.com. We'll see you in the next lesson.